All right, today in dollars and cents, consumer credit card debt reached a new record of $1.13 trillion. And if you're one of the many people who are dealing with debt, it may be time for some spring cleaning as spring officially greets us tomorrow evening.
Sounds good to me. Joining us to continue that conversation is money-saving expert Andrea Woroch. Andrea, let's start with polishing your budget first and tidying up financial accounts. How can that help people to stay on track with their budget and also save?
Exactly. You know, maybe you checked in on your budget in the new year following the holiday season, but things change, expenses change, and were you even really sticking to the spending plan you set out for yourself? So this is a good time to go through your expenses and figure out where you might be wasting money, plug those budget leaks, as I call them. This could be unused subscriptions, maybe extra movie channels in your cable plan that you're really not watching. Perhaps there's a cheaper competitor service for your household, like cable or internet, that you're missing out on, and running a quick online comparison can help you save. All the money that you save on these bills that you're not really using is a great way to then reach other goals, savings for the long term, or maybe a vacation fund. And then I also like using budgeting apps like You Need a Budget. This is great because it actually helps you track your spending to ensure you're sticking to your budget. We also talked about cleaning up your financial accounts. So check in on your checking account. Are you paying any fees like checking account maintenance or overdraft fees? You want to make a plan to avoid paying these. And also, there are online banks that charge fewer fees or maybe no fees for checking accounts. So I would recommend looking into that. And this is a big one. If you have money in savings, which you should, an emergency fund or any type of savings, move it to an online high-yield savings account because you're going to earn a lot more money thanks to those higher interest rates. And a good example is Bread Savings. They offer a competitive 5.15% annual percentage yield. That money is the interest is compounded daily, deposited into your account at the end of the month. So your money works harder for you. And I also wanted to quickly touch on the idea for parents. Begin investing for your kids' future. This is a good time to open a UGMA investment account for your kids, and a good option would be Fabric by Gerber Life. It's completely digital. These accounts are great because they're flexible. They could be used for anything that benefits your children in the future, not just education. And I love this. Ask friends, family, grandparents to make a cash contribution to this account in lieu of gifts for birthdays and other celebrations.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I know we've done that for our 3 kiddos, and then it's something that you just don't really even have to think about. It just kind of does its thing. Let's get back to the record number of credit card debt right now. For those who are dealing with the debt, how can they finally start to chip away at it?
Debt is definitely something a lot of consumers are dealing with right now, as you mentioned. A few things that you could do to get started. Did you know you can negotiate your interest rate? Studies show that 70% of people who called their credit card company were able to successfully get a lower interest rate. That's a first quick, easy step because that interest could be eating up your monthly budget. And so you want to check that out. Also, consolidate your credit card debt. You could use a balance transfer card, move that money over there. You can get up to 21 months with no interest on that credit card. That could really help you pay off your debt faster. Also, buy you some time to build up some savings and have that cash reserve. So that's a really good option. And I like apps like Debt Free or Debt Payoff Planner. These would help you create a debt payoff plan that's realistic and help you track your efforts, help you stay motivated along the way.
All right, and on social media, we shared that you were joining us this morning, and viewers had a couple of questions for you. Jimmy, for example, asked, for someone in their 30s, is contributing to your 401k or 503b the best way to save for retirement?
I would say this is definitely a really important strategy. You do not want to wait. I know in your 30s, retirement seems like light years away, but the money that you start putting away in your 30s in these accounts is going to grow over time thanks to that compounded interest. And as long as your company is also offering a company match, invest at least up to that amount that they offer to pay you. That's free money you're going to be getting from your company to enjoy later in life. But this definitely shouldn't be your only strategy. If you're new, though, this is a great stepping stone. Other things like real estate investing, there are other ways to start building your portfolio.
I always learn so much from you. Thank you so much, Andrea, for joining us. That was super helpful.
Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, have a good one. Singer Melissa Etheridge will bring her I'm Not Broken tour to the Pantages Theater in Tacoma.
Etheridge is widely considered a female icon in rock music. You might know some of the greatest hits like I'm the Only One and Come to My Window. Today in the Best Of, Steve McCarron recently chatted with her about her new tour, her book, and her recent Broadway show.
Talk to me about the decision to go back on the road and what fans are going to see with this tour this time around.
Well, last year I was extremely busy. I wrote and put out a book. I did a concert at a women's penitentiary in Kansas that we recorded and filmed, and that's coming out. And then I did my Broadway show at the end of the year, the last part of the year, and that's a whole nother different way of working and a way of just a whole different kinds of the work. And I have great respect for them, but man, just to get back to me being a spoiled rock star on the road, playing my songs, I'm ready for that. So I'm really looking forward to this tour this year, just to play the songs that people love and have a good time. I'm really looking forward to it.
What have you missed about that experience of just kind of traveling parts of the country and seeing fans and seeing them rock out and that sort of thing? What have you missed about that?
What's not to miss? It's really, I mean, I've been doing it for, 35 years, and I love it. There's nothing like it. It's my safe place. I've grown as a guitar player, so that's fun. I do more of that. I am just having a blast.
That's going to be awesome. You talked about the Broadway engagement with My Window at the Circle in the Square Theater. What was that experience like for you?
It was very cathartic, very therapeutic. I would sort of go through my whole life every single night, and really the whole show was built around me healing and surviving and living and moving on, and sort of my spiritual center, and every night talking about that and coming from that place. It's very healing. It's quite but it was also very exhausting, and it took me a few weeks to really come back and sort of be normal, sort of.
What did you learn from that experience? What was your big takeaway?
That that life is amazing and worth it, and every moment of creating is exactly what we're supposed to do, and that that all of our stories are stories to be shared and listened, and maybe help other people at the same time.
And you were talking therapeutic in a way too, I would imagine.
Oh, very therapeutic. It's like I don't need to, visit that anymore. I don't need to go talk about my son's death or my breakups or cancer. I worked through it. I did it. I'm okay. I can surround that and take that in, and that's part of my life. But it doesn't hold me down. It doesn't define me. It just builds me more.
How would you say that the therapeutic experience of being on stage, in terms of a Broadway setting, how was that different from maybe the therapeutic aspect of putting a book together, which is a whole another beast in itself, right?
Well, a book, you're sitting in a room by yourself or with somebody else, and you're just telling the stories, and you're writing them down, and you're just narrating. Whereas, boy, when you do it on stage, there are people sharing it with you, and it's 800 people, and they are also coming on the journey with you, and they're crying with you, and they're laughing with you, and they're relating it to themselves, and it's very daunting, but it's very rewarding.
Yeah, you had mentioned having a career that's spanned a long time. And I'm curious, when you look back, how do you think that you've changed or evolved, not only as a person, but especially as an artist over that time?
Well, I think we all change and evolve and grow, and that's the nature of life. And I certainly have learned to be easier on myself. I used to compare myself, and comparing is like, you might as well just poke yourself in the eye. It's really a horrible thing. And to really learn to enjoy what I do and appreciate it and see that I've shared it with others, and just giving myself a break, not and stopping and looking at what I've done, and then look forward to what I want to do. And that's the joy, is moving toward, your dreams.
Yeah. Beyond obviously getting ready to kick off a tour, what else can we expect down the road? Can you give us any hints on other projects you're working on?
Well, this summer we'll see that the documentary that we filmed at the women's penitentiary. It's called "I'm Not Broken," and that's what the tour is about. So that you'll start hearing stuff from that coming out in April, May, June, and I think the documentary comes out in July on Paramount Plus.
All right, we'll look forward to that. Melissa also mentioned she'll be doing some more writing this year for an apparent new album release next year. And you may have noticed she was wearing a Kansas City Chiefs hat. Obviously, quite happy about the team's recent Super Bowl win.
Yeah, that was a good catch. You were like, I think she's a Chiefs fan. If you'd like to get tickets for her tour stop in Tacoma this weekend, they are still available. Just scan that QR code using your cell phone's camera. That'll take you directly to KOMOnews.com/hotlinks, where you'll find a link to buy tickets.